Welcome back, everybody. It's another edition of New Guitar Day. Today is a brand new guitar, or at least it was advertised as such. Today is November the 5th, 2021, a beautiful mid-autumn day out. Windy, partially cloudy, but for November, quite delightful. So as the tradition goes, we're going to make the cat disappear, and we'll be right back. Presto changeo. Okay, so what we have today, something a little different from what I've had. I've had iterations. This is a Squier Affinity Jazzmaster, second version. The first version they came out with had humbucking pickups. This one has single coils. Many purists would argue that this can't be a Jazzmaster because it doesn't have what they would call the typical trim setup. It doesn't have the second circuit. So you know how purists are. If it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that, this is sort of a new thing, along with our space age headstock guard here. But anyways, I'm into non-traditional, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. I got a really good deal on it based on some other activity that I had going on, some discounts, some credits. It made this an extra sweet deal. I don't know if I would have spent the street price of $279 on it, although after I play it I may change my mind and think that that would have been a fine deal. And of course I was attracted by the color, which people could say is rather frivolous, but hey, I suppose I'm a frivolous guy when it comes down to it. I appreciate color. As long as I'm blessed to have the gift of eyesight, then color matters. And there you go. It's called Burgundy Mist, and it's definitely not as red or gold as one would imagine. Ooh, the fret ends feel really pretty dang good. This guitar feels really cold. Action pretty high, but not to worry about it. And it does definitely feel a tad thinner than the big guitars. It's got some weight to it. Certainly not a lightweight guitar. Let me turn it around for our studio audience. I just want to give it a tune-up. The switch survives. Some people have said that the switch was broken. Just go for the usual here. Neck feels good. There's no neck pocket cracks that I can see at the moment. Finish looks like they got it out of the factory. But again, compared to what some people said, fret ends feel divine. Unless there's going to be some expansion or contraction based on humidity levels. So there you go. So I'm going to give it a whirl and we'll be back. Okay, we're back. It's later on this evening. Time is flying by. Again, it is November the 5th, 2021, and this is a new guitar day, and this is the second iteration of the Squier Jazzmaster. The first one had humbucker pickups. This has simulated Jazzmaster pickups according to all that I've read. Some people say they're P90s, other people say they're just single coil Strat pickups disguised with fat plastic Jazzmastery looking covers. I have no idea. But here's what I will say. The Affinity, at least this one, it's all your mileage may vary, you never know what you're going to get. The fit and the finish on this guitar is fantastic. It's equal to a classic vibe. It's equal to a vintage modified. Certainly equal to the deluxe and the standard. Of course, the vintage modified, the deluxe, and the standard have all been discontinued. So I think in Fender / Squier's infinite wisdom, they decided to just upgrade the affinity, because the previous affinities, while certainly not bad guitars, and I'm a fan of bullets, so if affinity is supposed to be a little better than a bullet, but I can just say that based on my experience, this new generation of affinities are definitely a couple notches above what they previously were. So again, fit in the finish on this guitar, first impressions, maybe a week from now when I come back and do a bit of a week later addition to this video, who knows, but for the first day, plays great, feels great. The fret ends on it are as good as any guitar I've ever had. The classic Vibe Jazzmaster I had cheese grater frets on it, so again, humidity, storage conditions, guy at the factory, I have no idea, but this one came out absolutely beautiful. The color is really odd. The pictures of it, more of a plum. It's a very, again, color correction, colors everything. It almost has a gray. I'm looking through the camera right now, it doesn't even show any of the real color. I guess if you were to prop it up a little. But under normal light, it does have a burgundy look to it. Again, these are the simulated Jazzmaster pickups. I would make this comment, a lot of people online were talking about, oh, it's not a real Jazzmaster, it doesn't sound like a Jazzmaster. What does a Jazzmaster sound like? What kind of strings you have on it? What kind of amp you're playing through it? Who's playing it? What kind of music you're playing? There is no such thing as a Jazzmaster sounds like a specific thing. Certainly it lends itself better to certain genres, but over the years, a lot of, harder rock guys got a hold of Jazzmasters and turned them into something else. So I also have to say that the Indian Laurel fretboard on this particular guitar is spectacular. I can't even tell that it's not rosewood. I know when they first came out with Indian Laurel, some of the early ones were really abysmal. They had that really gray, sort of corpse, lack of color look. This just really nice. The back of the neck is a satin finish, and unlike the bullets, which almost feel like they're unfinished, this has a nice satin finish to it, so it feels really good. It's funny that they went with a 3-ply pick guard, but they went cheap on the back cover and just made it a single piece of plastic. So anyways, overall, I am quite impressed. I think for $279 street price, you can sometimes get them to knock 15% off, which takes it down to like $237, and that's just really a bargain. I mean, because that's within the realm of what affinities, old style affinities went for, a little less than that. But it just really plays nice, it feels nice. It's a little thinner, I'm guessing, they said it was, than a standard Jazzmaster. It's certainly, they say the body's poplar, and according to their ad copy, it's, oh yes, a lighter guitar for younger kids. It's a pretty solid guitar, I would just guess. In fact, I'll weigh it right now and come back with the results. So it comes in at 8 pounds even, so it's not a lightweight guitar by any stretch of the imagination, but if you've ever played Jazzmasters and Jaguar, however you pronounce it, Jaguar, they're big-bodied guitars, so you have to expect that there's going to be some heft on it. So 8 pounds for this. I mean, I have a Telecaster that's 8.5 pounds, and the body's certainly not as big, but it is thicker. Anyways, I give thumbs up for this guitar. It's like any guitar, it's not for everybody, but it's mind-boggling for what is considered a budget guitar, and certainly $279 in the world of guitars is very, very budget friendly. The fit, the finish, the quality, it's wonderful. It's really nice. So there you go. So we bid you a goodbye again for the third and final time. It is November the 5th, 2021, about 5:30 in the afternoon. Sun's going down earlier. On Saturday night, we turn the clocks back, so it'll be pitch black at this time in 2 days. So thank you for joining us. This should be the last new guitar or used guitar for this year. We know how that goes, but as far as I'm concerned, I think it is. So thank you very much. As long as I have the camera out, I just wanted to add a addendum to this guitar. Now, this is the Squier Affinity Jazzmaster. This is their second iteration of this guitar. The first one they came out with had humbuckers, and this one has, who knows, you can call them a Jazzmaster pickup. Some people say they're P90s swirled away in there, that there's some hybrid. A lot of people don't like the sound. I do like the sound. I've had this guitar for a month. Here's a perfect example. So this guitar costs, you know, half as much plus some change than the Gibson, and the fret ends on this guitar are butter, right? Butter. So again, Epiphone needs to wake up and not, they need to take that extra time and put the extra effort into making it. But I just wanted to add this to the end of the tape that I will put together, that this guitar was a complete surprise to me. I wasn't sure. I had no idea what I was going to get. And yeah, the current affinities are definitely a step up. I'm not sure. They got rid of the standard, the deluxe, and the vintage modified. I think they probably should have gotten rid of the affinity and called it the deluxe, because this is definitely fit, finish, quality equal to the deluxe, the vintage modifieds, and even the classic vibes that I've had. I mean, there's just nothing wrong with this guitar. They just did a really nice job putting it together. So anyways, I thought I would add that as well. Thank you again.